Arthur Murphy's here. Good morning, Arthur.
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
Oh, still above ground. Just about.
Do you ever get a crick in your neck?
No, in the back I've had a crick in the back, yeah, but not so much in the neck. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but not. I can't remember when the last had one now.
Right. Yeah, I should just get on it, really.
Because I'm more younger than you in virile, and I think that's something to do with it as well, you know.
So the reason Arthur's here is to help us out with email bag. If you see something on television that you don't like or that you love, let us know about it. And if it's featured, you get for yourself a bobblehead Ray. Everybody in position and ready to go. Here we go.
Hello, you mailbaggers, and welcome to the wondrous world of wonky broadcasting wobbles. And this week we've gone, well, football crazy. All this talk of the Vuvuzela reminds me of an old music hall joke that Jimmy O'Dea and Noel Purcell used to tell back in the 60s about myself that ended in a punchline. It's like a Vuvuzela, only bigger. Those were the days. Anyway, first up is Colin German, who's worried about George Hamilton.
As bad as the sound of the Vuvuzelas are at the World Cup, at least they do drown out some of the in-depth weather analysis from George Hamilton during Brazil and North Korea. I quote, "When the bright sunshine, which has been bright because there are no clouds, disappears, night comes on, and the temperature drops considerably."
I stand corrected about my Vuvuzela. Poetic and poignant, Conor Whelan is also worried that George is wilting in the bright sunshine.
Hi Arthur, I have a simple question. Does George Hamilton have magical powers? On nearly all of his commentaries, he will call a goal before the ball has hit the net. He also has the same magical powers when doing rugby commentaries too. Can you please ask someone at the RTE Sports Department to explain this extraordinary talent? Cheers, Conor Whelan.
Here's RTE's response.
George does indeed have magical powers. He has in fact also promised us next week's lotto numbers. Kind regards, Laura.
The sun has got to them all. Looks like it's also spreading to Monaghan. Here's Lisa Duffy.
Dear Arthur, I'm afraid I've seen it all now. The weather forecast has now begun to name the counties on the forecast map while they are doing the evening forecast. And to my horror, they have mixed up the counties Cavan and Monaghan.
The shame.
They have Cavan placed above Monaghan on the map of Ireland. Can this be true? Has our national broadcaster gotten it all wrong? Please tell me this isn't true. Yours confused, Lisa Duffy, Cavan or Monaghan now.
Looks like your worst fears are about to be confirmed, Lisa. Here's Meta.
We've looked back at the Sunday broadcast and agree that an unfortunate error did occur. For this, we can only apologise and assure you that we will take every step to avoid its recurrence. Having said that, I'm sure you will agree the forecast given was spot on, and hope all your Cavan and Monaghan listeners will accept our apologies.
Would you just admit you made a mistake? Now, here's a good boyfriend worried about his partner's televiewing.
Arthur, as I sat on the couch after watching the footy, my girlfriend was livid to discover the show that she loves watching, Cougar Town, on a Monday night was not on. And then she found out that The Good Wife, which she also enjoys, was changed from 9 to 10:30. Instead, they were showing Baz's Extreme Worlds, much to the annoyance of my girlfriend. The question my girlfriend asked was that since us fellas have the World Cup for a whole month, why couldn't RTE make some effort to keep them happy and try to keep the shows that are aimed mainly at women on at the same time as they always are?
Oh, major brownie points for you, Paul. Come on.
Could you find out if RTE will be returning to their normal viewing next Monday night? Ray, I asked you this not just for her, but for me, as I had to listen to my girlfriend complain all night long. Thanks. Regards, Paul.
You had to go and ruin it all. Here's RTE's response.
There are plenty of shows for women. Leading Ladies season started a week ago and is running for the duration of the World Cup. The US version of Who Do You Think You Are has started. The Good Wife is still on but has moved to 10:30 while the World Cup is on. We are broadcasting nearly 200 hours of World Cup coverage, so we have had to juggle our schedule a bit to cater for the World Cup fans. And you have to remember, a lot of women watch the World Cup too.
Thanks, RTE. Finally, Triona Hickey is annoyed with Corrie.
Dear Arthur, I was so annoyed when I watched Coronation Street's most explosive and expensive scenes ever shot last night that I had to wait until today to calm myself enough to email you. We were all glued to the screen last night while Tony held Carla and Hayley captive in the factory for what appeared to be an unavoidable death, and breathed a sigh of relief when Hayley was thrown out of the dark factory into the bright of day. After a short ad break, presumably to psych ourselves up for the second half and to make the tea, we see that it is all of a sudden dark, as though it was 12 p.m. at night. I thought maybe we were supposed to think that Carla had to endure a few more hours of torture, but then noticed that Hayley is being walked over to an ambulance and police are cordoning off the area. 2 events which would not be happening approximately 6 hours after Tony threw her out. Do ITV not realise that these things happen?
Yeah, you poor thing. Sounds like you've been through a worse ordeal than Carl and Hayley.
I understand that they needed the dark of night for dramatic effect, for the fire, etc. But why not have the whole scene at night rather than this huge difference and try to cod us by having an ad break between the night and day scenes? Do they not think that we will notice this? A riled up Coronation Street fan.
Right, we got onto the Corrie press officer who doesn't suffer fools gladly, so brace yourselves.
Brace yourself. Just watched it. It is sunset as the first half ends. As we rejoin in the second half, Hayley has been seen by the paramedics and is being brought back from the ambulance wrapped in a blanket. So it's safe to assume some time has elapsed, and the tape being put back up is as someone has walked through. This is Corrie, not 24. We do not show every minute as it happens.
Right. Okay. You are right. I could never imagine Jack Bauer racing through Weatherfield looking for a nuclear device. That's it for this week. Email bag at todayfm.com for all your queries. Bye.
Biddly-dan-do. Thanks very much, Arthur. Email back at todayfm.com. If it's featured, you get for yourself a bobblehead Ray. Any good documentaries we should know about?
No, that thing I was talking about last week, the Mona, M-O-N-A, that horrible disease. Yes. I was just looking up a bit about it, and evidently, I don't know how they got the statistics, but there's 140,000 cases of this terrible thing. It's a fungal type of...
Noma.
Noma, that's it. And... of that 140,000 cases, 100,000 are children from the age of 1 to 7. And it's obviously started off by malnutrition. It's also due to the fact close, bad water, drinking water, close proximity in rural societies to animals and things like that. And it's a dreadful, dreadful disease. I never saw anything like it. Yeah, it was repeated, actually, I think, last night again. Yeah.
Thanks very much, Arthur, and we won't talk to you next week. Anton will be here next week to keep you company, and we'll talk to you the week after. Email bag at todayfm.com.